Hello, everyone, and welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. This is the Immigration Answers Show where I provide you answers to your immigration-related questions and the political situation surrounding immigration. Today is June 16th, 2025. So welcome to everyone who's joining, and please don't be shy. Type your questions in the comment section so I can get your questions. There's quite a bit going on in the world of immigration, as well as the overall globe. There's global things happening, there's political things happening. So I would like to provide answers to questions to help individuals and families move forward with their processes. My main office is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I help individuals and families, but I help people from every state and really any country in the planet. So please type your questions so I can help answer your questions. And if you need to reach me directly, I can post a link in a little bit for you to be able to do that if the questions are not sufficient during this session. Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, so this question, Laverne, do I know anyone that does pro bono work for immigration? That's kind of tougher to come by these days because of the complexity of what's going on. Throughout the years, I've been doing this for many years. I've done many cases pro bono, but things are so crazy now. It takes so much time to do a lot of these processes. There's so much interaction with the government that it's going to be pretty difficult for anyone to find someone to do free legal services for immigration. Okay, so I would just encourage you to keep looking. I do not have a contact for you, unfortunately. What I do pro bono is this session every Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's one of the ways that I give back, because it's just too time consuming to do cases for free, because they're too complicated. Okay. Here's a question from Sal. Can you be deported if approved I-130 and pending 601A waiver? 100%, Sal. Okay. Can we cross a checkpoint? I don't know what you mean by checkpoint, Sal. What do you mean by checkpoint? Checkpoint getting into the country? Are you talking about a toll booth? What exactly do you mean by a checkpoint? Okay, answer that question for me and I could maybe give you more information. But yeah, you can be deported with an approved I-130. I-130 is just your ability to continue on in the process. It doesn't provide any legal protections. And the 601A waiver is just your ability to beat your 10-year bar. So yeah, you absolutely can be deported. Absolutely. Okay. So Laverne, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to post, I'm going to post my link so you can book a time to talk to me directly, because it seems like there's a lot more that you need information on. And the best way to do it is by booking a time to talk to me. We can speak frankly with one another. I can share information with you that I don't typically share on the live. So check me out and hopefully I can help you out, okay? All right. So here's a question. I'm going to put this up here. Okay, my mom's concerned about traveling to Mexico. She became a citizen not so long ago. Would there be an issue when entering the U.S.? Zero chance of that, okay? So Melly, absolutely no chance. Your mom was a naturalized citizen. She's a citizen. Even if she's a legal permanent resident, there's very little chance that she'd have any issues. But a citizen, no. There's no legal ability for the government to prevent U.S. citizens from returning home. So you don't have to worry about that at all. If you have questions beyond this, please use that link that I posted and I can talk directly to you, okay? Okay. So Sal, you say Border Patrol checkpoint Is that a fly on my shoulder? Yeah. Border Patrol checkpoint in the country. So Sal, again, there's probably a lot more to your question that's probably too complicated to answer on this live session. You're talking inside the country. You're talking about we don't have checkpoints unless you're just entering the United States. And I know that within 50 miles or so, sometimes there's checkpoints for people with border crossing cards. That may be what you're talking about. So yeah, I mean, that's a real thing. In Michigan, we don't have any of those checkpoints. I mean, we kind of do coming in from Canada. You got to pass over the bridge, but beyond that, there's no checkpoints. So yeah, if you're talking about border crossing card, within that certain period or distance, I don't know if it's 50 miles or 90 miles, I forget. But yeah, immigration, the Border Patrol absolutely has the right to stop people and make sure that they're passing through with the legal documentation. So I hope that answers your question. If not, you can always book a time to talk to me directly, okay? Let's see here. So answering a lot of the questions from my my YouTube family. So one second here. So this is an interesting question. Brenda, thanks for the question. Are USCIS offices delayed because of the protests? No, I don't believe they are. They're delayed because this is a crazy immigration nightmare and things are backlogged. That is what delays USCIS offices. Protests, things like that, no. Unless you're in an area, your office is right next to where the protests are, and then people can't show up to work, and there's delays because of that. But across the country, the different processing centers, they're not delayed because of the protests, okay? Or at least I haven't heard any reports of it. I could be wrong, but I think I probably am not. So we have Chef Goose. Good afternoon to you too. In regards to the 2-year limit for the K-1 visa, since we were disqualified, is it better if he comes to visit me in the U.S. once again so we can start to file? Chef Goose, I remember you asking that question after one of my videos, and I was actually going to try to get to it today, but since you asked the question, I can just answer your question right now. If you're excuse me, if your significant other has the ability to enter the United States and visit you, 100% do that. Have him come into the United States, and then you can do the fiancé visa, or you go and visit him, right? So either way, it is, if you can, definitely do it, okay? Because that is one of the requirements of the fiancé visa that is never going to go away, and it's extremely strict. They don't mess around with that. So if you are not strictly following that 2-year requirement, they're just going to deny you. So if you have the ability to do it, please do yourself a favor and do that visit, okay? Okay. Yeah, Melly, my pleasure. Yeah, focusing, being, having a narrow tunnel vision when it comes to the social media stuff or the nationwide media about all the protests and all these things, it is hard to know. So I'm glad you asked that question, and I'm glad I could help. If that's not enough, you can always use that link to talk to me directly, okay? So thank you for joining and asking that question. So I'm going to go over to my Instagram family, answer some questions, and then I'll bounce back over to YouTube and Facebook, okay? So here's a question. I have my father in Congo, and I was planning for him to come in the U.S. What can I do? This is Flora Gloria. So again, I'm assuming that's in regards to the travel ban. Um, it's very unlikely. Um, it's very unlikely with a travel ban that your father is going to be permitted to enter, even if he does have an approved tourist visa. I don't think that they're going to honor that. Okay. And I'm glad you asked that question because I had a bunch of other people asking similar questions related to the travel ban in response to a video that I had posted um, about who can come and who can't come. Okay. So I will say that for the most part, if you have a temporary visa, like a tourist visa, you're not going to be permitted to enter the United States. If you have a green card, then absolutely, even if it's from a banned country, the United States government cannot prevent people with approved green cards from entering the United States because you have a legal permanent residency in the United States. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, okay? Now, getting an approval for a new request for a green card from a banned country, that's a bit different. And that's one of the things that the government, doing the travel ban, they're saying, yeah, we're not going to approve any requests from these 12 countries, I think it was. But if you already have the approval, they cannot prevent you from entering. I've had that question also for, at the beginning of this broadcast, U.S. citizen entering the United States from a banned country. That's not an issue, right? Because you're a U.S. citizen. You can do anything, practically speaking, when it comes to immigration. So you wouldn't have to worry. So getting new approvals, different story. Pre-existing, you're good unless it's a tourist visa or student visa, I believe. And then that might be problematic. Okay. So thank you for the question. Okay. So let me go down here. I'm separated from my American husband, and we are going to get divorced at some point in November. Sorry to hear that. Maybe it's good for the relationship, but I am always sorry to hear when people's relationships don't work out. Some point in November, I need to file for removal of conditions. Is it possible? Can it be approved? So this is Raina Jeffers. I'm going to post this again. This is the link to book a time to talk to me directly. You and I need to talk, okay? Because I can provide a bunch of information. I do have videos on my YouTube channel. You're joining me from Instagram, so you might not know that, but I have done videos that talk about this particular question. But please feel free to book a time directly with me so I can answer all your questions because this is somewhat of a common situation. It's not necessarily a deal breaker, but it depends on the facts of your case, okay? So reach out to me so I can help you figure this out, okay? Okay, so that's all from Instagram. Again, if you're joining us from Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, welcome. Please post your comments in the comment section so I can answer your questions. I didn't say this time like I normally do that I love when people tell me where they're joining from. If you can and you want to take some time to do that, I would appreciate it. It's always just kind of nice for people to see the span of who we reach and how many people we're able to help. Okay, so do that if you can. If not, just type your questions. Okay. So I'm going back over to my YouTube family. This is Walter. Walter asks, my case category is IR1 spouse visa. She is documentarily qualified since May 29 of 2025. How long is it to wait for medical and the interview at the embassy? Walter, it depends on the embassy and what country you're in. So I think if you provided me a little bit more information, I might be able to help you with that. But May 29, I mean, it's only June 16th. So really you're in the window that it hasn't been that long. As far as immigration is concerned, that's not long. In my experience, I would say that it usually is at least a month. But it really depends on whether you're on top of your stuff, whether you've filed it the right way with the National Visa Center. It depends on a number of different things, but the country and the embassy has a lot to do with it because different embassies are very busy, others not so much, and they move things quickly. Okay. So reach out to me if you have additional questions, Walter, and thank you for your question. Okay. Okay. Here's a good question about TPS. This is from Plums. I currently have TPS. Is it safe to travel in state? Absolutely. Absolutely. No issues whatsoever. TPS, you have nothing to worry about because with TPS, you have a valid driver's license for whatever state you're in. And traveling throughout the country with that is no issues. Whether you're driving, whether you're flying, taking a bus, taking a train, no issues with the TPS. Okay, so good luck with your travels. Okay. Let me see. There's a question here. I'm gonna go back and see the beginning part of it. I don't remember seeing it above. This is this is, well, I can't answer it because it's incomplete. This is from Demi. Demi, if you're on here, I don't know. You say they are unmarried adults. Who are unmarried adults? If that's a part of a larger question, let me know. You're joining us from Stuart, Florida. Thank you for letting us know that you're in Stuart, Florida. If you could provide more information to that first comment section that you put, I can maybe answer a question if there's a question there, okay? But thank you for joining in Stuart, Florida. Okay. Ahmed. Okay. If I, who am a 100% disabled veteran, sorry to hear that. Thank you for your service, though. There are problems being a sponsor for your spouse. I do not pay taxes, but they keep asking for IRS verification. Yeah. So Ahmed, that is a tricky situation because whether you've served, whether you're disabled 100% or not, immigration is working on a different purpose, right? And you still have to prove to immigration that you can support the person you're sponsoring. So they don't let that go just because you're a disabled veteran, even if it's 100%. You still have to show you have the financial resources to support that immigrant. So we can talk if you need to. I posted a time or a link. I'll do it again because I've helped people figure this out in the past, but you might need a financial co-sponsor. Since you're on my YouTube channel, you probably have seen my video about it. Check it out if you haven't. Otherwise, reach out to me and I can help you figure it out, okay? Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, this is my friend from the ministry. And I know that we've talked, my office has talked with you in the past, and we're trying to figure out your travel. Because again, basically, to provide context, I'm not going to divulge your history, but the context of naturalization in the United States, okay? To become a naturalized citizen, you do have to show travel, right? You have to show travel usually for the last 5 years that somebody has traveled back and forth from the United States. If you don't know your travel, that's a bit tricky. And that's the question here. I was told that I could get information on when I enter the US. Could I get when I left too? Okay, yes. And I know that you do a lot of ministry work in Bolivia, and thank you for that. So when you left Bolivia, or when you left the U.S. to go to Bolivia. So there's limited travel information, okay? And if my office didn't provide you with that helpful hand, I apologize for that. There is a website. Do a search, sir. That's I-94. So the I-94, as you know, and most people probably know, the I-94 is the arrival departure record that the government is supposed to keep records on people's comings and goings. The website is not as good as it used to be, but they used to provide all the entry information that somebody has had. I don't know how far it goes back. For certain people, they need to go back even further, and I don't know how far back they keep those records. They actually stopped providing that service like they used to. It was amazing. It was great. And we instantly looked it up for clients, and we had access to all that information. Then they kind of stopped doing it, right? So the I-94 entry departure records, they actually stopped giving you the little card. Everyone knows the I-94 card that goes inside the passport. They stopped doing that too. It's kind of up in the air. Check that out. If you haven't already checked out that website, the I-94 record, and then you enter your information for your passport, and they provide a chronological list. It might not go back farther than a couple years. That might be your issue. But beyond that, I don't know what information they have a duty to provide you for your records request. So check that out first, though, okay? Okay. Let's see. Got Tracer Sala, good afternoon to you too. I don't know where you're joining me from, but welcome and thank you. Post your questions if you have them, okay? Okay, I'm sorry here. Oh, you're from Congo. I see it here. From Congo, I did apply for my wife's I-130 in August of 24. Do you think the travel ban will affect my wife's case? So, Tracer, probably. If it isn't far enough along in the National Visa Center process, then yes, it will affect that. Absolutely. It won't affect the I-130, which is the petition that allows you to keep moving on. It will affect your keep moving on part, okay? So I believe it will. So unfortunately, I'm sorry to hear that. Who knows if the travel ban will stick? It probably will. It did last time under the first Trump administration. It was challenged like crazy. It probably will stick because, again, it's the tough thing is people from different countries are thrown into the mix and are impacted by government problems, okay? So the problem is not necessarily with people from these countries, but, or at least not the immigrants that are trying to come here, but with the government, sometimes it is the people. So hang in there. Hopefully it gets resolved, okay? All right, let me see here. So plums, this is an ongoing, this is a bit, you've got a very challenging set of circumstances here, okay? So why ask why? Okay, the government, each administration has a different idea of how to monitor, how to enforce immigration, okay? Obviously, everybody realizes that. This administration has started to focus on people that are not here with legal status which hence the riots. I don't know if they were riot level or just protests in LA, but that's what a lot of the issue was. I was happy to see today. I did some research for this broadcast that the priority is shifting back to what we believed it was before, which were the really bad people that subject and attack people and prey on people. So the criminals, basically. So I think that it's a swing that went back in that direction because the protests were loud and clear. And Trump was like, okay, well, we're going to focus on people that are bad and we want out of here rather than people that are just going through the process. Your question was, can the government enforce and deport? Well, yeah, they can. Will they? I don't know. It really depends. So your question is, why would they try to deport? I don't know. It depends on your history. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on the way the wind is blowing sometimes. Okay. So, but the point is the government has the ability to enforce the law the way they see fit. And that changes from time to time to time during every presidency. Okay. So that's the best answer I can give you. Okay. Okay. So real quick. Oh, Mark, right? Hi, Mark. So thank you for joining again. Always love it. So thank you. Okay, so here's a question. Before I go to Instagram, it looks like we're about ready to wrap up for tonight. Okay, this I'm going to answer. This is an ongoing question from Chef Goose, who, again, I think I told you that we might need to talk more directly. Because it seems like there's a lot of questions you have, and I get it. I'm here to provide this service to people, but it might not really fill your needs if you have bigger issues than just quick answers for context. But here's what you say. In regards to the income form, can a relative be a co-sponsor if the income requirements are not met? I made the required income in 24, but in 25, I had no job. Yeah, okay. So, Chef, yeah. A relative absolutely can be a co-sponsor. That's the most common co-sponsor out there are family members, okay? So they have to be over the age of 18 and they're either a legal resident or a U.S. citizen. Those people, whether they're your relatives, work buddy, or whatever, can be a financial co-sponsor, okay? If you need help with it, let me know, okay? So, all right. So let me go over to Instagram quick because a lot's gone by. So fewer questions on Instagram tonight, but a lot of viewers. So thank you for viewing. We're almost done with our time. So I will say again, I'm happy to see that things are starting to be more leveled off when it comes to the politics of immigration right now. Trump did say that they're going to prioritize removal efforts for people that have criminal records and that harm others rather than people that are just here without legal status. I hope that's true. I'm going to be here next week at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I love this, okay? I love when people say Roger that because I say it all the time. Why do I say it? Because I'm in the Army, of course. But Chef Goose, yeah, my pleasure helping you, and hopefully we can connect if you need more assistance. As I was saying, next Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is Detroit time, I'm going to be here again answering your questions. Thank you for everyone who's joining us. Special mention to Mr. Caddy, Mr. Grinch, Mr. C, and all my other friends. Thank you. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next Monday.